Good evening, guys. It's Phil. It's All Leeds TV, and we are back. And I'm back. Obviously, it's been a little while for me. I'm joined tonight by the wonderful Chris, who has obviously probably done more of my shows than I have in the last month and a half. and I've got my
season.
and I've got my good friends Lad and Dad with me as well. So I'm in good company tonight. How are we all doing? Lad and Dad, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you very much. You've lost your tan. West Yorkshire swept it from you, hasn't it? Or is it just the light on your face?
I thought he looked a bit more tan, to be honest with you. I thought I looked at him and was like, oh, way up.
I knew the reason I got you on.
No, he was on the
Toddle off and let Lad stay, because he's clearly here to be nice to me.
I'm not in the mood to be nice, actually. I know we'll get into it, but this weekend's been proper depressing, right?
Yeah, we will definitely get there. But look, there's reasons to be positive and reasons to be concerned. But look, you got to look at the last few games, and we're in good form. So we'll get into that. Don't worry, Chris. How are you, mate?
Yeah, doing well. I'm fairly relaxed, I think, at this point in time.
Good.
See how that goes tomorrow evening. But no, we've got a nice cushion at the moment.
Yeah, well, if you haven't already guessed, just before we came on air, we were talking about what points we expect to finish on and the other teams to finish on. And I think we're going to have a bit of a section later on in the show where we will go through all of the teams and the points that we expect to and Alison and Marty are with you there already. Glass half empty. There's a lot of things to discuss. Obviously, Derby have been relegated since I was last on a show. There's so much to get into. Obviously, the results that have been happening all around us. I'll come to you first, Chris. Obviously, you've done a couple of shows while I've been away. What have you made of? I can't even remember the last show I did. Who we played, but what have you made of Jesse Marsh and the team and the way we play and the results and everything put together while I've been gone? What do I need catching up on?
I mean, going purely on results, it's been a success. I think 10 points from the last four games, is it? 3 wins and a draw. It's not been pretty, especially the last game against Watford. It was quite a poor watch. I was nervous the whole way through that match until we got the first and maybe even the second goal. So
yeah, I think for the third.
Yeah,
it was like, okay, we're okay now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we've truly seen his style of play yet, have we? I think we're still, but maybe we don't need that. Just if he's the man to come in, get them motivated, maybe that's all we need.
Maybe. Well, yeah. I mean, we'll definitely get on to what we think of Jesse Marsh as a manager and as a coach, and how things are going and whatnot in a minute. But Lad, Dad, how have you found the last few weeks? What do you think of where we are? And is it a case of just, look, results, points on the board, that's what he was brought in for, and he's doing all right? Or are you a bit upset with the way that we play?
To be honest, I think I'm quite happy with it, because I just think as long as we're getting results, we're always going to be okay. And, at the moment, that's what we're getting. You look at the last few games, there's nothing really gone wrong. The only one that makes you go a bit like, we could have done better is that Southampton game where we drew 1-1. But then you still look back on that and it's like, well, we got a point from it, which, we're happy about at this stage in the season. But, it's like he was brought in to get points and to, motivate the squad. And I think he's done that very well. But, we haven't seen his proper style of play because we're in this relegation scrap. So, I
mean, for me, it's proper squeaky bum time, right? It's like really, it's time where things are getting a bit loose. That's what I'm thinking. It's we haven't played great. We haven't played great at all. And I got a bit of stick on the socials at Lad to Leeds when we played Norwich, which, Phil, I think might have been your last home game, right? Was that your last home game? I mean, it
I'll
might
be
have been.
honest with you, mate. It's been that long. I haven't got a clue. I forgot what Ellen Road looked. I was at Ellen Road obviously Friday night for the under-23s, but I forgot what the first team looked like.
Yeah. No, it's but the results are potentially it keeps you alive, right? It's not potentially, it does keep you alive the whole time. If you're getting up points, I can't say it's a success because you would have thought, we should be winning these games. This Southampton game we should have had in the bag. That should have been a win. So the Watford game was an awful performance in the first half, and yet we went and won 3-0. I actually thought we got better in the second, not just for goals. I thought the play just looked a bit better. But so I'm really not quite sure what to make of Marsh, and I know we're going to get into it a bit later, but I don't think we can even judge Marsh really, and probably won't be able for the rest of the season. To be quite honest with you.
No, I agree. In all honesty, I think we judged Jesse Marsh for the first time on the last game of the season at 90 minutes when we know whether we've stayed up or not. And until then, that's when we judge whether he got the results that he needed. But there is no denying that the style of play that we're seeing on the pitch at the moment isn't his football. It isn't, not yet. And it's going to take a pre-season to get there, and it's going to take, let's be honest, an overhaul of the squad. So, yeah, I'll be honest. Obviously, I've watched the games live while I was out in Greece with the family. And then obviously I've watched the highlights back a lot of times just to sort of get my head around what's going on since I've got back. And I'll be honest, look, I don't like the way we play. And when it is talking about how do I feel about Jesse Marsh, I think that he's come in as a motivator. The players needed an arm around them as much as, look, I worship Marcelo Bielsa. I think he's the greatest coach I've ever seen for the way he's improved our players. But, he's not a great motivator or a man manager. He will say that himself. And players like Rodrigo in particular, the transformation in him since Marsh came in, it looks like he's had a word said, look, you could be a leader here. And he's taken that on board. So fair play. But the style of play, I'm not going to sit here and criticise to the extent where I'm like, I'm not happy. I don't want to watch it. End of the day, if it keeps us up playing like this for now this season, that's fine with me.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
At this point next season, if we're still playing this kind of football where I'm watching the game and I'm really not enjoying it, I know the sentence "I would rather have kept Bielsa and gone down" will always upset people. So I'm not quite on that level, but I am. If this time next season, if we're still playing this style of football, I want to be able to go to Ellen Road and enjoy the game and be entertained. And for me, the best part of the Bielsa era, as much as we had a lot of success in terms of getting promoted and having good runs of form throughout, apart from obviously this season, the thing was you knew you were going to be entertained regardless of the result, which it sucks the fun out a bit. But results are important, and obviously we come into Palace tomorrow night on a good run of form. But genuinely speaking, you wouldn't know watching the games that we've gone and got these results, but we are in good form. Palace aren't in the best of states. They've just been knocked out of the semi-final of the FA Cup, which, it's a good season for them. They're probably safe, but people say that Vieira's had a great impact on him and he's kept him to a different level to Hodgson. They have one more point this time last season under Roy Hodgson. And, they're only 4 points ahead.
That's a bit unfair, Phil, because you've got, it's a different world now. I mean, didn't they have about 20 players leave or something ridiculous like that as well? Yeah. So I think Vieira has done a decent job, to be fair. Crystal
I like the way they play.
Club, and I think it will be difficult. I think you're right, though, to flag that getting knocked out of the cup and then adding an away trip to Newcastle, which is a loss, right? That happened this week for them. I'm kind of hoping that must have some kind of psychological or physical effect on them negatively. Whereas we're coming into this with a big long rest. Calvin Phillips coming back, and we've had a good run of wins, even though we played Robbins. It's it's. I think without spoilers for further on, got to be 3 points tomorrow night. Got to be.
Yeah. Don't forget, you don't tell me your lineup yet. We do that later.
I won't tell you my lineup
at the end. So Just don't go early. I know you like to blow your load a little bit early when you
the story of my life, mate. Look, this is how this happened.
I was later, thank you.
All right, okay.
So, lad, what are you looking forward to, if anything, about tomorrow night, or are you just kind of cocking your pants the same as me?
Well, no, I'm quite confident, really. I think we can go to Crystal Palace and get something, but at the same time, exactly. I was just about to say that. I was literally just about to say it. It was like, oh, that old bit of Leeds is coming into me. 3 years ago, you're looking at the fixtures and you're thinking, oh, important game, and we're in bloody London.
Yeah.
And, it's just got like a loss written all over it. But, different times. I think we can go and get a result at Crystal Palace. I think we do have the ability. We, it's been 2 weeks since we've had our last game. That's enough time to, to get tactics in, for the players to be fit and healthy. So I think we'll be fine.
From your mouth to God's ears, mate. I wish I had your confidence. I'm sat here.
I am big time.
Chris, are you excited for the game tomorrow? You look quite optimistic, generally speaking, though. So I get the feeling from your face already. You are looking forward to the game.
Yeah, well, fortunate to get tickets for tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to being there and seeing the atmosphere. But I think we can take something from it. I don't think we have to. I don't see it as a must-win game, but I mean, most of the attacking players are on good form. Rafinha, Rodrigo, Harrison. I think the striker's still a worry, obviously, with no Bamford, but everyone is playing themselves into a bit of form. Palace don't have that much to play for, so I don't see why we can't go and use the fresh legs for having a break for the last couple of weeks. Yeah,
like one of the comments said before, like, hopefully they are just on the beach. Let's be honest, they're not in a relegation battle. They're safe. They ain't getting in. They're probably not going to get in the top half, but even if they did, they wouldn't get anywhere near Europe anyway. So they have got nothing left to play for. And our remaining games, like, no, I hate using the cliche of cup finals and all that stuff, but, I'm sure Jeff probably has. I don't think we must win tomorrow, but I do think we can't afford to lose. I think we need at least a point. I think if I was to say to you all now, we come out of tomorrow with a 1-1 draw, would you take a draw right now, lad? Draw?
No.
Dad?
No.
I think we've got to win. I think like literally tomorrow's our best shot at that next and only 3 points.
Yeah. Chris, would you take the draw?
I think I would, because it's another point on the board. I wouldn't be happy with it, but there is obviously a chance we come away with nothing. So this stage of the season just need to get something.
Yeah, I must admit, I know lad and dad are going to look at me as if to say, what's wrong with you, Statman? But I would take a draw. And, one thing I want to talk to you all about is stylistically why you feel confident, because I can tell you stylistically why I feel very worried. Not necessarily in terms of where they are right this very second, because obviously, like we've said, let's hope they are on the beach. Let's hope they are a bit deflated. But given the way that we play and our system, earlier in the season, I took my missus for our first game together to the home game. It was a fucking boring game. We scored a penalty in the 93rd minute and nicked a win. But I'll be honest, like, obviously our weakness back then was bang through the middle of the pitch. And now, if you ask me, like, if you go back and watch every goal we've conceded since Jesse Marsh took over, they all come from our fullback areas.
Out wide.
Always.
Yeah.
And if you look at what Crystal Palace are going to set up as tomorrow, if they have any brains, which they do most games anyway, 4-2-3-1, Wilf Sahar on one wing, and then you've got Conor Gallagher, who's obviously on fire this season as well, in between him and Michael Elise on the other wing. They're two players we should have bought, which I'll get back to it. But like their width and the way they exploit people with that width does genuinely frighten me. Their front four, I think, can do a job on us, and I wouldn't be sitting here feeling very confident about going there and getting 3 points, to be honest. It's one of them where obviously the last few games, I probably didn't feel confident about getting wins from any of them, but we have come out with results. So hopefully I'm just being that typical pessimistic Leeds fan. But are you not worried about their style versus ours? Chris, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, massively. I mean, yeah, the players you mentioned, I think we spoke before about these players that we should have bought them, and
Yeah,
I think
I think as
Zaha,
well.
Zaha on the left, that's a worry running at Ayling, but I don't know. The thing that I'm sort of a bit confident about is we've got our defensive players back. We've got Calvin Phillips, we've got Cooper, we've got Ayling and Dallas on the wings. So we have got players who can hopefully cope with some of these players. But if we give them too much time on the ball, we'll get punished.
Apparently, according to the comment, I don't know if this is true. I didn't know this until just now, but apparently Elise is injured. If so, it's bad because I actually really like watching him, but at the same time,
do it after our game. Watch him all you want after Monday.
Yeah, no. What do you think, lad and dad, about the way the game's going to go, and do you not feel worried because of how you expect it to go?
I think we'll concede. I think absolutely they are geared up to score against it for the reasons you've said, Phil. You know, they are just that they do very well what we can't defend very well against. However, despite Conor Gallagher, I especially in our last games that we create chances, even when we don't play that very well. And there's 3 players that must start. I'm not going to jump ahead, Phil. Don't worry. But there's 3 players who must start because they score the most goals for us. Without doubt. And I think they could tear, especially with Rodrigo and this new Rodrigo we've got. Under Jesse March, I'm confident we could score against them, and I think that's why I'm like you. I'm cacking it for it, but I think it's more beyond the Palace game that's really worrying me. I think we have got a chance tomorrow. I think it'll be I think tomorrow might end up being an absolute banger of a game for the neutral. You know.
Yeah, don't say that. You'll spoil it. It'll be boring now.
No, but do you know what? I think even if it's low scoring, I think it'll be proper end to end stuff. I really do.
The basketball game stuff again.
Especially with Calvin back. Calvin's gonna be back and he's gonna be spraying those balls that'll cut open Palace, and it'll be
very important to have Calvin and Cooper both back starting the game, and he has said that they will both start. So
wonderful.
We'll get to the lineups, but that is massive for us. What about you, lad? What do you think?
I think obviously like last time, I know it was under a different manager, but I think we did a really good job against Crystal Palace. Like, the comment was saying there, Dallas put in an absolute shift on Zaha. I think Zaha can be an amazing player, but I don't think he has that consistency to do it week in, week out. He always has that spurt where he scores like 2 goals or something. Everyone's like, "Oh, he's amazing, this player." But I think we'll handle the wingers fine.
Be Ayling on Dallas, so won't it this time?
Yeah, it was Dallas last time because Ayling was injured. I remember there was the time where Dallas tackled him on the floor with his head.
Oh, it was brilliant.
Oh yeah.
So Stuart Dallas.
It's funny that It's funny that you went on Zaha because I was sending your dad some of the stats that I've put in the big match preview article that I do. I've just put that out on the Twitter. So if you haven't had a look, the link's on the Twitter. Go have a look. I've just put loads of stats and shit together so that people can see what that one. But yeah, I was looking at the impact between Rafinha and Zaha, for example. So with Wilf Zaha, the thing that they've always said for the last few season pundits with Palace is, especially under Hodgson, they were so over-reliant on Wilf Zaha just basically snatching results for them, and that was the way they stayed up and ended up basically finishing 13th or 14th every season. But you look at what he's actually done in terms of match-winning goal contributions, whether it be a goal or an assist, he's only actually been contributed towards 3 points for them this season. And then you look at Rafinha for us, he's actually made 18 points on his own with his goals and assists for us this season. It's fucking mental. And I've actually had times on these shows this year where I've said, sell him for 30 mil now. I'll take it now.
I thought that as well. I exactly thought that as well.
So I kind of had to have a word with myself while I was writing that article. Like, shit, maybe I need to appreciate Rafinha a bit more.
Yeah. No, it's when he's not doing that, isn't it? And it's when he looks in a huff that I think we were all fair in our comments of send him out. As Leeds fans, we will over exaggerate our emotions in the moment, and we'll have them shipped out. We'll be driving. What did Terry Venables say about Olivier Decour? I'll drive you to Rome myself. I think was his comment after a game once, wasn't it?
Mate.
It was. I mean, Leeds fans are very guilty of that. But yeah, I mean, Zaha does frighten me. But I think I think anyone who's half decent will score against Leeds. If you're coming in from those wings, especially, that was a bit I was a bit frightened about with Watford, actually. But we seem to really it was all coming down the middle with Watford with them all the time, and we didn't really we got rid of that wing play. So yeah, it's I think they will score. They're going to score tomorrow night, but I think we'll score and hopefully more than them tomorrow night.
Yeah, like Lad was saying, it is really hard to take anything from the first game, just because obviously we've got a new manager now and we play very differently. But I mean, I suppose you can look at the way they played against us, and they didn't offer too much, really. There was that moment where Meslier kind of like had to sprint back and grab the ball from on the line. But I think from what I remember, their threat was mainly just set pieces. So I don't know. Maybe they've evolved a bit during the season, and people have been impressed with them. But
I don't think they'll be on the beach, Chris and Phil. I don't think that's a Vieira attribute.
Nothing to play for. You take more risks, don't you?
I think Vieira is a kind of coach like he was a player. It seems, and I think it's everything or you're not on the pitch essentially. So I don't think there'll be. I'm just hoping that they're a little hopefully more jarred because of their last week and a bit. And not unluckiness, but I thought they were a bit unlucky against Newcastle, to be quite honest. When I saw the highlights, but Newcastle spent over 150 mil for that, so fair play to them.
I do have one question that I want to ask all of you, and I don't know whether it plays into anything, but obviously doing the articles, I always kind of have a look at the record of our manager versus the opposition manager. Doing that since Marsh has come in has basically been a pointless task because he's played none of them before, apart from
this is a good one, right? This is a good one.
He's obviously played Klopp and Pep before in the Champions League, but that's only the odd game. This is the only manager that he's going to come up against in our current league with the current managers that are around. He's played against him quite a few times, and he's got quite a good record.
And it's a rivalry as well, isn't it? It's been a proper
he's won 5 out of 9 and drawn 1, I think. So Vieira's won 3 of the 9. So look,
okay,
Chris, do you think that plays into our hands that Jesse Marsh has got his number?
I'm not sure it really has an impact, does it?
It's just a question I've kind of got to ask, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd like to think, to take any positive we can get, but realistically, I don't think it's going to mean too much, unfortunately.
I'm also intrigued to see if there's going to be like any continuation of this beef they apparently had. So like they had a big spat between them at one of the New York derby, New York City versus New York Red Bulls. And
what a derby!
Jesse Marsh had been in the press all week, like the referees give all the decision to Vieira's team because Thierry Henry's there and all that stuff and blah blah blah. And no, it was something to do with Lampard, Pirlo, and David Villa at the time. And he was just yapping, and then apparently the referee gave them absolutely nothing. And so Vieira came out in the post-match and was like, it's because he fucking whinged all week.
Yeah.
Apparently they did have a bit of handbags. I haven't seen any footage of it, but I wonder if that'll continue because we'll like that. Leeds fans will love a bit of that. But Lad and Dad, do you think the bit of managers knowing each other and the way each other plays, and you think it plays into anything? I know David in the comments. No, Chris, obviously, having none of it.
I mean, Lad, what I was going to say, I mean, if anyone here, I think Lad, I mean, Phil, because of your job, you might do a little bit more, but Lad kind of keeps an eye on other leagues. I don't keep an eye on the MLS, but I'm just kind of like thinking it's like them managing like the under-12s in Stockport or something like that, and then you're in a completely different world in Premier League. So I think it's just totally different players. But I mean, I suppose the one thing out of all that I really like is that Jesse Marsch has really got a bit of a shithouseness about him, and we do, even though Leeds fans get more riled up than anyone when a team is a bit of a shithouse against us, we absolutely love and adore it when that shithouse is on our side. So with everything with Jesse Marsch is all. It's all psychological, isn't it? There's actually the final product we all want from Jesse isn't there, and probably won't be, for a long time, not this season. And it is all his interviews, and it's interesting seeing him do his interviews. He's obviously doing that for a purpose, isn't he? Right? And I think that purpose isn't necessarily for his own gain. I think he is trying to. It's all part of getting the team hyped, getting the team ready. Almost getting rid of the Ted Lasso ness of everyone will throw. And I think all that PR that he's doing is for the team. I don't think it's for anything else.
You look at some of the best coaches the Premier League's ever known. Mourinho was the best for it. I mean, whether good or bad, but he used the press to speak directly to his players. He didn't want to speak to the fans. He was speaking directly to his players through the press. So, I do think in terms of since he's come in and the way he's spoken, he's definitely won a lot of people. I didn't think I'd ever actually warm to him at all, because of the devotion that was there beforehand. But I've warmed to him I like the way he speaks. I think he's obviously a good motivator with the way that he speaks to the players without using the press. But lad, I just wanted your take. What did you think of? I forgot the question I asked, to be honest. I just
he said no, didn't you? Did you say
no? Jesse thing. I said no.
It won't matter, Phil. It won't matter. I think it's a completely different world.
We'll move swiftly on then, shall we? Yeah. Right. Before we get to predicting Palace, or do we have to predict Palace before we do the results thing, because that'll give away our results? Should we do that? Should we save it till last?
Yeah. Go on. Let's do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Well, we'll skip ahead and we'll quickly.
Someone's been on holiday. Chris, take over, will you? He's all over the place all of a sudden.
Mate, I'm out of the groove.
He'll be facing money in the morning. He's got exams in the morning. Come on.
I said to the missus before this started, I was like, am I all right to go on in a Barcelona shirt? Should I not?
Even though, I'm glad you clarified that. There's people thinking it's Crystal Palace.
No, me and the little one, we got matching Messi shirts because I've never had one.
Nice.
When you're on holiday, you got to buy a retro shirt.
Big time.
Got to be done.
Off the lucky
Yeah.
man.
So we'll do predicted lineups. I don't know if it's going to be too difficult because I feel like it's quite obvious. But Chris, I'll come to you first. Illan Meslier in goal.
Absolutely, yeah.
No surprises.
Yes, I think the back four is going to be the same. To be honest, we really don't have much choice. The team almost picks itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm a bit like, is there any point even doing a lineup prediction? But fuck it, we'll do it. Lad and Dad, back four.
Mez in goal. Yeah. Mez in goal. I think that the bit with Calvin coming back in throws a little bit of, who's going to start, who's not going to start. Obviously, we should mention Forshaw, man. I mean, I think he's looked absolutely outstanding for us ever since he came back, and I was gutted to hear that that's his season done.
Yeah.
I thought if he was going to be a real contributor, right, and till the end or whatever we got, and especially in that Southampton game, I loved. He was flying in. With real passion in that game, which was wonderful to see. And
we're only ever allowed a certain number of players fit, and as soon as one comes back, another one has to get injured. So who is you? Are you thinking unchanged back four then?
I'm thinking it'll be Llorente and Cooper. There was part of me was thinking would Koch drop into instead of Llorente because Llorente, I'm as good a game as he kind of had in the second half of Watford. I still think he's a liability, and Jesse Marsh knows that. And I think you would rather have Koch at the back than him, but I do think it'll be the back four because of Forshaw.
I must admit, lad, I'm going to ask you as well, but spoiler alert from me already. Like, I think Calvin coming in is the only change. But lad, do you think there's any change in that back four?
No, I think keep it. He's just going to keep it the same, really. But I think he knows that Llorente is a liability, and I think we would all want Koch to go back in there. But like I said, because of Forshaw, he kind of might reveal a little bit too much. But you have to change it. Yeah.
So obviously the two in front of the back four, then we know Calvin is starting. He told us Calvin will start, but who do you put in your two in front of the back four, Chris?
I think I'd go Click just because we want to win. We don't want to be too negative, but I don't know whether he's going to go for Koch there. But I'd put Click there, Click and Phillips.
For the balance of having Calvin as the more defensive of the two, and Click can move forward. Not that they do move forward very much, that double pivot. But
yeah, just to be positive, I think if we put Calvin and Koch, it's just almost settle in, or I don't know. I want us to be on the front foot, so they're not. So their attacking players don't have all of the ball.
Yeah. D's making a good point. None of us can understand why, D, but Gail, I know if you're watching, you don't like me saying naughty things about Llorente, but I have no idea why he's picked Ted of Koch.
Nuts, isn't it? Nuts.
We'll go back to the two in front of them. Someone saying Click and Calvin. Lad, what do you think? Who's in front of the back four?
I think Click and Calvin as well. I think if we put Koch there, I think it's just going a little bit too defensive in a game we need to get something out of. I'd rather us go 1-0 up or something like that, maybe 2-0 up if we're feeling good, that is. And then in the 60th minute or something, you bring on Koch in that midfield just to hold it out a little bit.
Chris has jumped ahead of us here. He's thrown the whole thing in, but I'll leave it there. We'll come back to it. Dad, who's your two in front of the back four?
Yeah, funnily enough, I think I am with Chris bar one. I think he will go with Koch. And whenever we do this on All Leeds TV, I always get confused between what would I do and what would happen. And I think, Chris, you alluded to my thinking on it. I would go with Click, but I think he'll go Koch and Calvin. And I actually think what we'll see from Calvin is a little bit more of his England role.
Yeah,
and I think it will a little bit. I mean, Christ, comparing Koch to Declan Rice. Please don't clip that. But I think that's what he's looking for, and I think you might see a Calvin that is a little bit more offensive because of it. I think tomorrow Leeds win it if that works in the middle, and I think what he'll want is for those two to destroy the middle, but with Calvin. Have his distribution, and he'll want the following, a bit like Chris has put on there, a very offensive-minded four in front of him to be protected from losing the ball. As simple as that. I think it's just that is what you'll try and get. Whereas Click is pretty woeful at coming back. Let's not. I don't want him to. I don't want my name on the side of a terrorist mug. I think
he might gave away that foul against Southampton.
Don't call me Bob. No, don't call anyone. None of us are a Bob here. But I think what Jesse will want is just a little bit more, and I think he's seen that from the subbins that he makes. Click generally comes off under Marsh because of that. I feel. So I mean, Koch. I think he'll go Koch. I'm selling what I think Marsh will do, and I feel it'll be Koch and Phillips in front of him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, up until we haven't got to where Chris has gone, Rafinha, Harrison, Greenwood, Rodrigo. We haven't got to them yet, but up until that point, I agree with pretty much everything. Yeah, everything that Chris Kelly's put in there. I actually, just in terms of what you just said, Dad, I honestly said before, but I think the reason we get anything tomorrow is because Ayling and Dallas do a job in the fullback areas and don't get molested. That's the only way I see us winning the game. I think that's where it'll be won and lost, the wide areas. But at the same time, those two CDMs have got a job to do to actually help cover that space. I was watching, obviously, I was at the under-23s game on Friday night. I took my little one for his first ever trip to Ellen Road, and he's probably really not interested in football, which is a shame, but I enjoyed it. But the missus was pointing out to me, she was like, "Oh, I like that number 3. He's good at left back. Why don't you get him in? Because Firpo's shit." And I was just like, "Yeah, he is good." But this was at 2-1, and I was like, both of their goals have come from his area of the pitch, though. So it is just like watching the first team. They are.
What was good about him? What was good about him? What was good then? If he was
good,
getting...
he was good on the ball. To be fair, he could dribble and he passed at the right time and did a good. He did the Dallas thing, pass and move, third man.
All those under-23 boys are good at that, though, aren't they? Like they're all lads who are really good at stepping up. But it is generally going the other way where it goes tits up for the under-23.
Apart from Cresswell, I haven't seen like any other defender at this point.
He's a fucking unit, is Charlie Cresswell. Like he stands out in that team.
Did he remind you of Thor? He's like Chris Hemsworth, isn't he? He actually looks like Thor.
It's like Wolves. He's a unit. Like when we went Wolves, saw him. He's massive.
I loved him.
What is he like? 19, 20? He's just fucking huge.
He's the same
anyway,
age. Doing his GCSE.
We digress. Well, let's move on to who's going to be playing in behind the two strikers. Chris, who have you got
there? I think Rafinha is going to be there, and I think Harrison as well, given the way he's been playing.
Yeah.
Chris Kelly's going to start.
That is true.
No reason.
Chris.
Yeah. So, Lad and Dad, who do you have as your two in behind the strikers?
Raff and Harrison.
Yeah.
Don't see why not.
Right. Always is.
But in all fairness, Raff, Rodrigo, and Harrison have to play tomorrow. They have to play. We need to keep them fit for every game. It's as simple as that. That is where the goals are going to come from. They're not coming from anywhere else. It's those 3. We need them fit for the next 6 games. It's as simple as that. And
I'm just going to... Well, I know we've carried the team to this point as though it's the 4-2-2-2, but I know sometimes... And I know it does sometimes blend into a 4-2-3-1 and 4-2-2-2 in the middle of the game anyway. But I'd rather we just 4-2-3-1 it all the time, please. I don't like the cock and balls formation. It's just
rubbish.
It's shite. This is where we're going. So obviously the question's been asked by a few people, but that one's just coming at the right time, so I'll flash it up. Who's up front for you two, Lad and Dad? Because obviously Chris Kelly put before he wanted Greenwood to start or expected. It's hard to decide whether it's an expected or wanted, but who do you want up front?
I think I would want Gelhardt and Rodrigo up front, but I can see it being probably Rodrigo or Greenwood or Dan James. I don't think Gelhardt will get a sniff in at that because I think Jesse Marsh is liking Greenwood at the moment. Because, against Watford and Wolves, he's been quite good. Against Wolves, he created that. I think it was the equaliser pretty much, bringing it down, turning size. And then, obviously, against Watford, he played that through ball, which wasn't the greatest of passes, but still caused a lot of trouble and led to the goal. So I could see him maybe coming in. But, I would prefer Gelhardt, but I think most likely James or Greenwood.
I thought that the reason Greenwood was getting minutes was because there was an injury with Gelhardt. I thought once Gelhardt was back fit, I don't know if that's the pecking order now and Greenwood's moved above.
I think that might have been the case, but then Greenwood, by all accounts, has done himself, huge favours. We were at Wolves and look, there was a moment where not everyone was playing well at all there, but like Greenwood, he got stuck. He looked more physical than I was expecting from what I'd seen in the under-23s, which I think is, and against Watford, he looked strong, powerful. I'm again with Chris. I saw you pop it up there. I would love 𝐃𝐎𝐍𝐋𝐿 to start because, again, he's got goals in him. And if we're going to stay up, guys, we need goals. So I'm just approaching it. It's who's banging them in. And, you know, you look at Rodrigo, Rafinha, Harrison, and then you've got Joffrey, who's the one who's getting the other goals, not Greenwood. I mean, it will be Rodrigo and James. I, too, saw that rumour flying around on social media that Russell just popped up with, that Dan James is injured. And then so I think it will be Greenwood and Rodrigo. But if Dan James isn't injured, it will be Rodrigo and Dan James.
Yeah, Chris, who have you got as your front two?
So Rodrigo, and I'd ideally like to see Joffrey. I don't know where he's gone. I know he has sort of had loads of injuries, so maybe he just needs someone to come and get a good rest, and they can crack on next season. But I think if Dan James is fit, he'll play. He's not scoring. He's not scoring the goals, but he's he does cause danger, and he must be hard to defend. So
he would terrorise that Crystal Palace lot, wouldn't he, Chris? The Crystal Palace back four would be scared of Dan James, I think.
Yeah, and he's going to get a goal one of these days. So
yeah, well, I must admit, they're very much the same as you. I think if he is fit, I'd be surprised that Dan James doesn't start, because I think Jesse Marsh basically starts him every game if he's fit. But if he's not, I would prefer to see 𝐃𝐎𝐍𝐋𝐿. But at the same time, I've said the whole way through the season, I think Joffrey off the bench is actually more dangerous than Joffrey starting. As weird as that is, I think it's been a shame recently to obviously see him on the bench and not come off. So I'd like to, if he is on the bench, see him at least get the last half an hour, not 5 minutes like Bielsa used to do, not 2 minutes, not 10. Give him a good half hour at least. But, you know, on Dan James, again, one of the things I sent to Dad when I was going through my stats and stuff was like, you look at 𝐅𝐻𝐿 for Palace. I thought 𝐅𝐻𝐿, great season, absolutely loved the guy. Wish we'd have signed him. 2 goals and 5 assists. Dan James, 4 goals and 5 assists. And people think he's shit. So, yeah, I mean,
has he started better than Grealish? Has he done better than Grealish?
Probably.
Has Dan James had a better season than Grealish?
He's done nothing for 100 million quid. Nothing. I'm not getting into Grealish. I'll get us demonetized. I'm not doing it. So that's the lineups. Let's go into the predictions, and then obviously once we've done the predictions for tomorrow night, we can follow it up with what we think the season's going to end like, to be honest. So so one doesn't spoil the other. So I'll come to you first, Chris. You're a positive person. You're going to tell me Leeds are going to win.
I think we could nick it. I think it's going to be tight. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but I'd go 2 or 3-1. I don't see why we can't get a result.
And who's getting the goals?
Who's getting the goals? I think it's got to be Rafinha, Harrison, and maybe a scrappy goal from the corner. There's no one obvious to say, but that's the thing at the moment.
Well, there's 3. There's 3 of the only that you've mentioned. 2 of the 3 that are only banging goals for us. So it's either.
I knew where Dad was going straight away when you said 3 goals.
Yeah. It's Raf, Harrison, and Rodrigo, isn't it?
We're crying out for Bamford to come back and get 20 goals.
Yeah. Well, apparently he's on course for the last 2 games of the season, so fingers crossed we'll fucking need him.
Yeah.
Lad, what say you, mate? What's your result for tomorrow?
2-1 Leeds. I think, it'll be tight, but I think at the end, like last 15 minutes, we'll get 1.
And who's scoring?
I'm going with Rodrigo and Rafinha.
Dad?
3-2 Leeds.
And
I think it'll be an absolute last minute as well.
Yeah.
And
your goal scorers are the obvious ones, yeah?
Do you know what? I think it'll be Harrison, Rodrigo, and then it'll be a Limbs super duper Liam Cooper header. And there'll be absolute carnage in South London.
Yeah.
In fact, where's my limbs button? There you go. Limbs button. Absolute limbs. 3-2. Super duper Liam Cooper. Anyway, sorry.
I am really surprised that you haven't put that on already.
Well, it's been a bit. a bit soul Drake. A lot of us, and I'm looking in the comments, there is negativity. This weekend hasn't been good to the Leeds soul.
Well, no, it has been nerve-wracking, and obviously we're going to get onto that in just a minute. But I'm going to go 1-1. I'm going to be the negative one out of the lot of us and say I think we'll draw tomorrow.
Really?
I think the goal will be Rodrigo again, on a good vein of form at the moment. If it's not Rodrigo, probably Harrison. I don't see Rafinha scoring, weirdly enough. I'd like him to, but I just don't think he's been the same player second half of the season as he has the first half. But yeah, and like I said earlier, I would take a draw. As long as we don't get battered, we don't lose. It's a must not lose tomorrow. It's not a must win. But
Phil.
As we get to the next part of the show, me and Dad are probably going to say, well, maybe this was must win because where do we see the season ending? Let's go through it. I'm going to get the fixtures up on my phone, so I'm going to look down and give you them all.
Cool.
So every single person is going to give me their answers, but you need to be responsible. So if you want to get your phones out and make notes, you're going to be responsible for your own points tallies towards the end of the season. So we're all going to do this. So at the table at the moment, we are obviously, what is it now? 2 points clear of Burnley, which is far too close to call comfortable. For me, I'm not feeling happy about that at all. But we're 4 points clear of Everton. Although after tomorrow night, they will have that game in hand on us again. But, see what happens tomorrow. So for me, tomorrow night we draw. That gives us 34 points with 5 games left to play. And then going through, we'll do it team by team. So Leeds, obviously, our last 5 games, we've got Man City, Arsenal and Chelsea. I don't see any points there, I'll be honest. And then I say Brighton and Brentford. I don't see us beating either of them either. I think we have 3 points left this season. So my total for Leeds to finish on this season is 36. Chris, what's your total for Leeds in those 5 games?
So I'm going to be a bit more positive than that. So I think tomorrow's winnable. I think Brentford's winnable. Brighton's winnable. Chelsea, it's just before the cup final, so they're potentially going to have a weakened team. I'm not predicting 4 wins, by the way. But I can see 7 points. I think we can scrape 7, and that'll take us to 40.
Where are they coming from, Chris? Where are they coming from?
You're an optimistic motherfucker, you.
Yeah, where were the points coming from, mate?
Well, we're all set. Well, other than Phil, we're saying a win tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think last home game of the season, is it Brighton?
Brighton,
Brighton.
I know we've got a terrible record against Brighton, so it is a bit maybe naive saying that, but they're not going to have anything to play for. The stadium is going to be up for it. The players are going to be up for it. That's another win, and then
the players in the stadium were up for Derby, though.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, we don't want to go back. Yeah. And then a point we can get a point from Brentford, a point from Chelsea.
Yeah.
Jansen's not going to let us go down, is he?
Of course.
He scores an own goal in the last minute.
What a legend!
Bullet headed as a knee slide in front of the Leeds fans.
He might actually let us go. He might actually let the goal go in this time.
So you've got Leeds finishing on 40 points. So we may as well not even bother doing relegation watch with you then.
No, I think we're good. Yeah, where are we going to finish? 13th.
Right. Okay. Lad, I'll come to you because I've already had a tiny bit of the chat with your dad, and I'll save him for last. Lad, what do you see points wise for us?
So I think win against Palace, loss against City, loss against Arsenal, draw against Chelsea. I think win against Brighton, and I think a draw against Brentford.
Right.
So is that the same as
41 points? 41 points.
Right. Okay. So you think we're fine as well?
Yep.
David makes a good point here. West Ham did get relegated with 40 points, so you're not all out of this.
Jesus. Oh, God.
Dad, what's your points tally for Leeds?
So just so you know, before coming on it, I did this exercise for Burnley and Everton as well.
Yeah, mate, we're doing them next.
Are we moving on to that? Right, okay.
Don't spoil it. We're doing them next.
Palace win. I think it's a must win tomorrow, and I think the reality is the lads will know that, and so I will get across the line, please God, tomorrow, 3 points. But I think then, the role of City, Arsenal, Chelsea, I think they're all losses. I think Brighton will pull a draw out of us at home, and Brentford will do us. So I've got us only getting 4 points, leaving us on 37.
Right. Okay. Well, it's nice to see Alison and Marty, after listening to the two lads before me and you, Dad, have decided to be a bit more positive. So well done to you two for spreading Christmas cheer. But me and Dad are about to on your
We're definitely the Grinches.
So, right, we're going to go on to Burnley next.
Before moving on, though, Phil, in all fairness, though, I think it's kind of, this is the bit that, I mean, this is really important here, because we can be over optimistic or we can be too down. I think it is, and I'm not saying this because we're trying to win a competition here, but I just can't see us getting anything from Man City, who have to win every other game. Arsenal, who want to end up in the top four and beat Spurs. Chelsea, who are avoiding. No, but
out of those three, I'm feeling the most positive about Chelsea because they're.
Why?
Oh, it's gone so well for us in the past.
That crap they're playing recently. They just scraped a 1-0 win against West Ham with Craig Dawson sent off. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
And West Ham were resting a bunch of their players for the midweek game. And Chelsea lost 4-1 to Brentford, may I just add as well. Got absolutely spanked by Real Madrid. Chelsea, I think, out of those three,
spanked by Real Madrid. You're talking as if they're like Brentford or something.
Yeah, but still, they're not. Yeah, but
they did
my
get
point is, Chelsea are on an awful run of form. I just think
I'd love their awful run of form. Give me their awful run of form.
It's the best time to play them, though. It's the best time. We're never going to get a better time to play them.
Yeah, perhaps.
Honestly, and remember last time we played Chelsea. It was a last-minute controversial penalty we lost to, weren't it?
Well, that was that was a Bielsa team, though. It's completely different.
Yeah, I know, but still same players.
And then I'll move on to Brighton. I think Potter is probably one of the manager of the season. I think he's absolutely wonderful what he's doing with that shambles of a team. And
the first half of the season, maybe, but they've been on the beach.
But he's still there on the beach, and he's still doing all right with them. And then Brentford, Brentford are I hate to say it, they're flying.
They're 11th, and they're only a point.
They're not bloody 17th.
Yeah, but they're only a point ahead of Brentford, Southampton,
which isn't too bad. When
at the moment, lads got us finishing above Brighton.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
So, right, we're going to do Burnley next. So they've got 5 games left. Their 5 games, Jesus. I'm saying Watford away, they will win. So that's 3 points. Aston Villa at home, I think they get at least a point from that on current form. I don't see them getting anything from Tottenham away. Then they've got Aston Villa away again. Could be another point, maybe 5. And then they've got Newcastle at home on the last game of the season. So if they get, if they lose to Newcastle, I've just said they'll get 5 points. That's joint on 36 with Leeds for me. And obviously our goal difference is fucking terrible.
And it'll be even worse after the next 4 games.
So I've got us and Burnley both on 36 with us below them on goal difference. Chris, your turn. What do you think for Burnley?
So I think they'll beat Watford. I think they've got to take something off Aston Villa playing them twice. So potentially even a win there. So that's 6, but that's probably them done. So I'd go 6 as well because Tottenham and Newcastle, I think they'd lose both of those.
Right.
But
in my scenario, not yours, because we're obviously on 40 points in yours, so they ain't catching us in yours. But you do think that I thought and you've gone higher than me. So in my scenario, they finish above us by points, not just goal difference.
So we definitely need 2 wins, is what we're saying.
Yeah. Lad, I'll come to you first. Burnley's 5 games.
So I think they'll beat Watford, but there's a little bit of me that thinks a draw because they have the
What are you
worst.
going for? What are you
Yeah,
going
I'm going for a
Come
win.
on.
I'm going for a win, but they have the worst away record or something like that in the Prem, don't they? Or it might be Everton. It's one of them. But
Everton
still,
had the worst away.
but still, well, I mean, they're both awful anyway. So, and then Villa at home, point, and then all 3 losses.
And then
Spurs, Villa, Newcastle, all losses.
So they're only getting
4 points.
Yeah,
they're on 35 in Lad's book, then, right?
Yeah, but we're in Europe in Lad's book.
I've got exactly the same as you, Phil. Watford win, Villa draw. They'll lose to Spurs. Villa draw, and I think they'll grab. I think they'll grab a draw at home against the team because it's at home.
Yeah.
And so I had them on 37, which is kind of my version of what you're on. I've got Leeds on 37 and Burnley on 37 points.
Right. So then the only one left we have to do, I'm not doing Norwich and Watford because they're gone, but Everton, obviously, they have 6 games left to play. They're on 29 points at the moment, so 4 points behind us. They have got Chelsea at home, which, Lad's just been saying, you can take a point off Chelsea at the moment, can't you? So
hard magic.
Yeah, so you never know. Leicester away, Watford away. Anybody who's beating Watford, they're fucking dreadful. Yeah. So that's a guaranteed 3 points there. Everton at home to Brentford. They could easily pick up a point there. Then at home to Palace and away to Arsenal on the last day. I don't see them getting anything off Arsenal. I'd like to think they wouldn't get anything off Chelsea, but I do think they'll pick up the odd point here and there against teams like Leicester, Palace, Brentford, and I think they beat Watford. So that's at least 6, and that's with me not really being anywhere near as harsh as I want to be. If I was being honest, I said before we came on air, I actually think at the moment, from doing the maths, I'm very worried if it goes the way I think it goes. I think Everton finish above us, and I think Burnley finish above us, and I think we go down on goal difference. I'll be honest, but for the sake of the show, I'm going to make it that Everton go down by 1 point because I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to do it.
You lost your cojones.
I don't want to be that guy, but I already have been by saying it anyway. So, Chris, what do you think to Everton's games?
I think they're going to get very few points. I don't know why we're predicting them to be winning loads of games. I mean, they
only predicted one.
Well, they upped their game today for Liverpool, but they had 15% of the ball, I think it was. I think they'll lose to Chelsea. I guess it's a bit earlier, so Chelsea have still got time for the cup final. Leicester away. I don't think they'll get anything there. Watford might scrape a point. I mean, Watford.
They've got to beat Watford. They're fucking awful.
Everton are awful.
Norwich, mate.
Yeah, but Watford aren't that bad. I mean, they against us, they had some good chances. If they put the chances away, it could have been a very different result. I don't know. Watford will still want to put a performance in. They still want to win, even though they're pretty much down. Brentford at home, maybe get a point there. Beat Palace, that's 4 points, and then lose to Arsenal. So I really can't see any more than 4. I think Everton are gone.
Right, lad, you the same?
Well, kind of. Yeah, I just think that Everton are shocking. When you watch them, I don't think you don't see anything like exciting come from it. It's just
but they beat Man United. They're good at home. At home's a different proposition.
Yeah, I know at home, but like it's still, the game changer they bring on though is like Solomon Rondon. You know what I mean? It's like they brought him on today. So I mean that kind of shows where Everton are at when you're bringing on a player like him. I think Chelsea loss.
Yeah.
Leicester loss. Watford win. Brentford, I think loss.
Ooh.
Brentford and Palace at home are winnable.
Yeah, I think then Palace draw, then Arsenal loss. Yeah, but yeah, carbon copy is Chris, really, isn't it? Yeah.
4 points.
Yeah, 4 points.
No,
and
just to be clear, Chris and Lad, you both think we're definitely staying up. We're very, very safe, yeah?
Apart
Not
from the
definitely
table,
We're Chris and Lad think Burnley and Leeds are staying up.
Yeah.
I think Everton will go down. You know, I mean, I've got a mate that's an Everton fan, and I don't really want to see them go down because getting relegated is quite a horrible thing. But if the men that Leeds stay up, bloody great.
Yeah,
I could care less.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'd quite like to see them go down, especially if it's Lampard in charge.
I think Everton are they just look kind of hopeless at the moment, really. When it's getting bad when you're relying off a home crowd to get your points.
I'm not. I think that's the real thing. I think the home crowd element is huge for them, and that's. I mean, on mine here, I was just listening to you guys going, "Oh, maybe you're right. That would be a draw. That would be a loss." This is what I originally wrote down was a Chelsea draw, because I can just see this Lampard headline of. The Chelsea boys help him out or whatever. I think they'll lose at Leicester. I think away, I'm like you, Phil. I think everyone's going to beat Watford. I think Brentford will actually beat them on their home turf. I actually think Brentford are that good at the moment. And then Palace, I think they will win. I think they'll beat Palace and they'll get a draw against Arsenal. I wrote it here. Now, I could change those results a bit.
8 points.
But I have them still getting 8 points, which I will be that guy, Phil.
Too many.
And I think we're all ending on 37 points. I genuinely do think that this is going to be hell. This is going to be we're going to goal difference to get relegated. I think that's and it's just horrible doing it. I hate to say it.
Everton
I think
are going to win 8 points.
And the Bielsa, I can see the headlines that Bielsa, it's because of Bielsa's man marking system that we conceded 7 against Man City. That it'll be all pointed to that. And
I really can't be fucking arsed.
No, it was awful. Dude, I was doing this, and I've got an Excel spreadsheet here. It's the most maths I've done in about 25 years. And I was gutted. Because I went, oh my God, it's gonna be goal difference.
Yeah, it dawned on me this afternoon before I did the check as well while I was with my missus and the kids, and I was like, oh my God, we're getting relegated on goal difference. She's like,
and the only way we need. This is why I think tomorrow is 3 points. It has to be 3 points. I know at the top there's been a lot of people going, oh well, as long as we get something. It has to be 3 points tomorrow for me. If it's not, I'm definitely gonna weep at 10 o'clock.
I don't think it has to be 3 points.
Go on, Chris.
Just before we did this section, I said that we were going to eat those words that I said before about take a draw. If we draw tomorrow, I've got us getting relegated. So maybe I should have gone for a win. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think if you win tomorrow, it's comfortable. We're on 36. We only need a point or two to stay up.
It's comfortable after tomorrow. It's not comfortable after the fucking 3 games after.
Well, no, but that wouldn't matter. But by that point, it wouldn't matter because Everton aren't going to go on a 3-game winning run. I think
I wouldn't like to. I'm not confident.
We can lose. We can lose tomorrow and stay up because.
Chris, I don't know.
No, because I don't think you understand. Everton aren't good. They're not good.
Everton were very good for a half today. For a half today.
No, they weren't.
That first half, they were good. They made Liverpool the second best team in the country right now. Look, why am I sticking up for Everton?
Exactly.
I love that we beat City. Do you know what, Liam? I actually think that is where we might. I've got a Dallin Door Limbs moment in mind that we do over City and Liverpool overtake them. I must admit, hopefully there is going to be a bit of magic like that within this. There'll be something where we lose against Palace and then we go and beat City.
I mean, you get that relegation boost sometimes. You just get like a freak result out of nowhere.
Phil, if we beat City on Saturday, we're staying at yours, mate. We're not going back home to Stockport, pal.
Yes, nice.
Just get that spare room sorted,
mate. You can have the house. You come. let's get absolutely plastered. I don't have either of the kids.
Amazing! Oh,
connecting to the internet.
Oh no way!
Fuck off!
Is that the warning? We've gone over 5 minutes too long on all these TV.
Alexa being a fucking nosy bitch. She always wants to get involved. Anyway, moving on. I've got a question for you all, and it's a one-word answer. Although I might want you to give me a bit of a run-in after. But on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not at all, and 10 being absolutely shitting my pants, after this chat, how nervous are you right now about everything, the world, the way it's going to end? We're all going to die, but relegation. Chris, 1 to 10.
4. I'm going to go for
4. Fuck me, you're far too positive, lad.
5.
5. Okay.
Like 4 or 5,
Dad?
I'm not going to use numbers. I'm just going to use. That's me.
That's 10.
That's me. That's a 10. Full on 10.
I'm not quite 10. I think I'm about an 8 or a 9. But I don't think I'll be sleeping easy if we don't get points tomorrow. I'm really scared now.
I think it's fair to say we should be. I'm going to be swimming in the sea of anxiety until that end, that Brentford game end. I think that's where we're going to be at.
I like
the big red run, but I'm going. I'm not.
Fair enough.
I'm not. I'm not.
Maybe we'll get relegated if that happens.
Exactly.
Imagine last day of the season we concede in the last minute.
We're finished in the Premier League outside the relegation zone. When the season starts in the year 3000, we'll be in the Premier League.
I'm not being funny, but to be honest, if Leeds go down this season, I want to press that fucking button myself. I can't be
Just walk across that line in Russia. Where's the button?
Mate, especially if it is goal difference. Fuck this. I'm not doing it again. No more.
That is the only way we're going down. That is the only way we're going down.
So obviously, Chris, you're going to the game tomorrow night, then, yeah?
I'll be there tomorrow. Yeah. So
amazing.
Should be good. It's meant to be a good atmosphere at Palace.
Yeah, and I will be nervous, and I do think it would be nice to get some points, but we've just got so many winnable potential games where we can pick up points. I mean, if we can't get points when we need it against Brighton and Brentford, there's something wrong there with the players we've got. Just to step up and just get something.
So good luck tomorrow. Stay safe.
I was going to say, I love Chris's world. Can I move into Chris's world? It's like In the Night Garden with Tinky Winky in that. I don't know. There's not many winnable. Tomorrow's our winnable game. It really is.
Right.
But mate, it'll be awesome. I'm really jealous. I'd love to go to Palace. I've only ever been once, and it was great. It was wonderful.
They're just drum wankers.
Like Leicester. Did you not see that video of PSV fans at Leicester? And they were like it was showing look, we're there with the drums and they're all singing, and it was meant to be as if we're really ultras. They're going. I thought they loved that at Leicester. They would have had their clappers out. There would have been banjos out. The lot. The drum thing is such a lame ass thing. I'm just so not into
just
that.
Drum merchants. That's what they are. Drum merchants.
So, lad and dad, where are you watching the game tomorrow night then?
In here.
Home.
In the lad to Leeds office.
We're sleeping in here.
Right.
So we're not moving. This is us.
We're transfixed to the seat.
The next 24 hours. This is just us sitting here.
I do have a theory that basically whenever I'm not actually physically talking to you, that you are glued to those seats and you never leave.
We don't leave this room.
And you'll never know.
You'll
never know.
And we live off Strongbow, the classic sponsor of the last.
It looks like we are sponsored at the moment because I've got the Strongbow shirt on.
Yeah.
Represent well. Better than wearing a bit of racketing, isn't it?
All right.
Too palacy, that mate.
Chris Kelly, the most manly man I've ever met, is watching from behind the sofa with a man napping.
Fair enough.
I'm watching it at home with the family, and I'm not letting the kids stay up and watch it because I can't do it.
Are you not?
I can't let them see me that stressed. No, they've got to go to bed. Obviously, I took the eldest the other day to the under-23s, and for the first half of the game, obviously the chants were all still pretty much the same. And I was trying not to swear in front of him so that he didn't learn words I didn't want him to learn. By the second half, he'd lost interest, and the missus had been doing it all game anyway. So it was just like, oh, you shit bastard.
That's the best one, right? That's the best one.
I must admit, obviously, I know they won the league on that night anyway. Well done to Man City, blah, blah, blah. But that poor keeper, there was a crowd of 21,000, and they're just abusing a child in there for Man City the whole game. And like,
year-old person.
In all fairness, though, if you that Man City team is not an under-23s team. Like Scott Carson was in goal for most of the season for them. Do you know?
They had like Liam Delap and stuff. I saw it, and I was like, Jesus wept.
Yeah, that Man City. It's a bit. I don't know. I think those lads should be proud it ended up second. It's not that Man City team isn't an under-23s team. Not when you've got Scott Carson.
We took the lead. We scored first. They equalised within like 2 minutes, but. They did.
Tell us about Gray. Like it was lots of bounce about Gray.
I must admit, I wasn't terribly impressed with him. I thought let's be honest, his age compared to everybody else in the pitch was probably the youngest player on the pitch.
He's in the same year as me. No, he's in the same year as me.
I don't think he struggled physically though. Physically, he didn't look out of place physically. I just thought he misplaced every pass, to be honest. But you can tell there's a player there, and I thought Lewis Bate was really good for us. So some of them was really good. Their goalkeeper, even he did it twice. The first time he brought Somerville down when he was through on goal. It could have been a red. If that was VAR, it's red. And then 2 minutes later, he did the same fucking thing again. He didn't get a second yellow.
It was awful. It was awful. That's really, that's really poor. It's upsetting that it was. That kind of thing happened. Like the referees at that level are just shocking.
Oh yeah,
if you look at the 23 games, they are really poor.
He seemed to be very like dwarfed by the size of the crowd. It was like it affected the referee, and he got a load of pelters as well. But the goalkeeper just getting absolutely like every time the ball went into the stand, he had to come and get it. Like he'd just basically stand there and wait for it to be thrown back. He wasn't going anywhere near the cop. And the front of the cop was literally like a bunch of 10-year-olds. Like, no one's going to do anything. Bless him that we intimidated him that much. We were in the cop. Obviously, I normally sit South Stand side or West Stand. But, fingers crossed if Leeds can make some sort of atmosphere down at Selhurst Park tomorrow night like that. Leeds fans always the chance to influence a game, especially when it's that rowdy away crowd.
Oh, Chris, I'm so jealous you're going, man, because they're a good bunch for Crystal Palace fans. I used to live in London myself, and Palace fans, I always gravitated to them because they are the proper, they're really up for it and a good bunch, good laugh, good humour, and you can tell by when you see them on the telly that it's it'll be great. That'll be a top.
Just need the early goal to settle it down, and then we'll be off.
Yeah. Everyone. This is a fairly frequent comment that's come in. It's going to be a really tense run in this, and it's not going to be enjoyable to watch for the next few weeks, and might well be going down to the last game of the season, but. For me, fingers crossed. Now that Lad and Dad are coming to have a sleepover next weekend, I'm happy with being sick.
Absolutely. Well, if we beat them, because we live in Stockport, which is where the majority of Man City fans live, so
quality journey. So
back. That'll be coming back something. If we've won, I don't necessarily want it. It'll be a real mood hoover. So get the spare room sorted, Phil.
I mean, you can stay here, win or loss, to be honest. I don't really give a shit. You're always welcome, Chris. Get yourself around. Let's have a lads night.
Yeah, brilliant.
We'll get the bait in.
That'll be awesome.
Well, Yeah, guys, I think we're going to call it a night there. I don't quite have the same levels of stamina as I did before my holiday, so I'm going to have to build those back up. But thank you guys for joining me and easing me back in. Hopefully it's been wonderful for you as it has for me. But thank you, Chris, obviously, for your time, and enjoy the game tomorrow night, mate. We're all very jealous. Stay safe. And you'll have to come on the player ratings and let us know what it looked like there and then. But have a good one. And obviously, lad and dad, always love having you on, and fingers crossed for this sleepover next week. I'm well excited.
Thanks for having us. It's been brilliant.
Thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for all your comments. If you haven't already, as Oscar would say, smash the like and hit subscribe and all that shit with my hands. But yeah, I mean, fingers crossed, 3 points tomorrow night, and we will
3 points. No other choice. Let's do it.
Player ratings, and obviously Scott's got his watch along, so keep
all around.
Thank you for having us. All the best.